What's up, guys? My name is Micah. I'm going to give you guys a little tour and a walk around of Jolly Pond. This is the pond behind me. Just going to go on a little adventure today, take you guys with me. This is going to be a little introduction to doing some longer format videos, possibly doing YouTube. It's been up in the air. I don't really know. Hit the like, share, subscribe, whatever. But just join me. We'll get to see a bunch of cool stuff that I just can't put in 3-minute videos like on Instagram and stuff, which is getting quite annoying because there's a lot of cool stuff to share. So here we go. Let's go. What's up? It is freezing, probably for the first time all year. It's just felt this miserably cold, so good time to go walk around the woods. Just gonna walk around the pond, show a couple things. Just found some crazy mushrooms, which I think there's a set of oysters growing on the logs over there. I used to have oysters growing up on an oak log up there, so it's not surprising. And then I've had some growing down there on the edge of the spring right here. This is the main spring that feeds into the pond. Massive spring right in here that I tapped in 2 years ago. It finally went dry 2 years ago. It just went dry by breaking underneath the dam. The dam failed on me, basically. And there's another spring behind that tree right there. Flows down, connects with this one. And this is mainly what feeds the whole pond. There's probably 20 other springs, but this is the biggest one. This is probably like a 500-year-old sycamore tree. I burned this out a couple years ago. I still haven't done it yet, but I want to put a roof on this and then, floor it and then kind of seal it and then put like a little door on it. I saved this cutout right here, which is still over there. And yeah, it's definitely not going to die. Already got a big sucker coming off of it right there. And that's still coming off of it too. Just to give you a size, that's a glove. It's huge. It's a little cabin I built 2 years ago, maybe 1 year. I think it's been down here for a whole year, basically. I did a really bad job with this with airflow. It's really not too comfortable to use too often because just really bad airflow. But pretty sweet little setup. There's not much to it. There's enough space for a bed. I had a bed down here, but I just still couldn't completely keep mice out, so I just took it out for the time being. Calante art, Chris Wheeler. Good view of the pond. So I started clearing this area out about 2 years ago. Last year I got some done. I burned this pile and I got a little bit more clear. Hopefully this winter I'll clear out from here all the way over to the docks. This used to be Goose Squad's area. Rest in peace. No more geese. Really sucks. Hopefully we'll get some more again at some point. And hopefully I'll find another amazing Goose Lake swirly. But you can kind of see. Pretty good view from over here. Really nice spot. Shaded in the afternoon. Sun goes over the trees about 3 o'clock in summertime. I'm not really sure what this is. Turkey tail? I don't know. It's real common around here. This is the best method I found out recently on how to get stumps to rot. So I just cut it. Instead of just throwing this off and leaving it on the ground, I keep it on top of it, and then it causes this to rot, and then the whole top part grows, whatever kind of like mushroom that infects it. And it's been way more effective than just cutting it off and leaving it clean, and even more effective than drilling holes in it. But This one's rotting pretty good. These are gum trees, and they're just like littered all around the pond. They're a real trash tree. I've been trying to get everything cleared out so the sycamores dominate the area, which is kind of what I tried to do right here, to let this sycamore dominate. And I dropped a huge poplar on it a couple years back, and it ripped the whole top of this thing off. Fucked it up pretty good. But you can just tell the amount of suckers that's on it now. This thing's gonna bounce back quite fine and take over, hopefully, this whole entire area right here. I really want to work on getting that one back there really open again. There's just so many poplar trees in here that are giants, and they're really hard to get down without getting in the pond. When they get in the pond, they're a pain in the ass to get out. It's the road down to the pond. Coming up on the second largest spring on the property that we have. Comes out from underneath this tree right here. And it flows that path right there. And then it goes down into a bog area. There's standing water right there. And there's just a massive bog in that area. All this brown stuff is stilt grass. It grows in low light areas, but really comes up when I start opening up the canopy and trees. They started to take over a lot of this area because I've been thinning it out over the past couple years. But yeah, this is the second largest spring runoff area that feeds the pond. It even goes through right here. And then this whole area is like this massive bog that is not fun to step into because you will sink 2 to 3 feet sometimes. I mean, I can put sticks in there 3 to 4 feet deep with ease. So these are the gum trees. This is like last year's doing. Just, I didn't get back in here with the front end loader to see if I could knock a little bit of the stumps out, but I got to keep coming in here and get out the rest of these gums so I can let the sycamores flourish. This is the sugar gum. These trees absolutely suck. And then this is what I want. I want to let this stay here, which is the sycamore tree. Beautiful, massive river trees around this area. This is the way that Goose Squad used to like walk over to the beach area from their area. They would sometimes just swim a little bit, and then they just get up on land and kind of like trot down this little area. And they had like a little path and stuff. And then they'd pop in front of this fence right here. The pond's been going down over the years. There's a leak in the dam, which we'll get to. This is the beach area. Really nice in the summertime. Gets shaded about 3 o'clock on the land. Got our floating dock. We had plants in these pots and on the bank. 2 years in a row we've had a snarf cross on the floating dock. And this is what I used to catch the last 2 geese that were still alive after all the fox attacks, and took them to a friend's house. Beautiful old glider I got years ago. Still kind of swings in pretty rough condition. Warming up now that it's sun's coming out a little bit. Damn, is it freaking cold. So I'm gonna upgrade the dock next year and try to like widen the whole like trellising system on it, and do a couple other things. There was decent success this year. So I'm standing on just a massive pile of dirt from when they dug out the pond. The pond was built in the 60s. The dam is over there, and then all the springs are over there and feed in. At least from our property, most of the springs are over there. And then we have a ton of other springs that actually come in from over here too and come down through there and feed in. These have been getting a little weaker over the years and they dry up quite often, so they won't even be flowing in the summertime most. This year is the first year I have now tractor access to this other side. I finally put a culvert in here, and I can drive across this. So I'm pretty stoked about that. But yeah, normally there's water in here. We would have so much water, it would be so wet that I couldn't even, it was too risky to bring the tractor across here, but now I got a nice little drainage pipe. Just wide enough for the tractor. And this used to always be filled up with water all the way back to here, so just like, you know, it's gone down a decent bit. It really sucks. But I'll get to that because I really want to try to fix this situation with the dam without spending crazy money on the 2-part chemical that will, like, you can dump in the water and then it expands like 1,000 or 10,000 times its mass or something, which people use on like new dam builds and whatnot. So, but we'll get to that. I'm walking up the path to the back side of the pond. This has been a 4-wheeler path for years and years and years, but just don't really use it because I haven't had a 4-wheeler in 10 years. A lot of trees are starting to fall down back here. It's a decent little mixture of everything. We got beech trees, got pine, gum, cedar. There's a couple oaks. A couple more trees I need to take down because getting the tractor past that tree's been an absolute nightmare. And I'm now got it in my head that I want to put another little cabin and do it better with better airflow. And this is kind of the spot that I'm thinking about doing right now. This will give a view for the long side of the pond. Kind of right there. Thinking about doing a 14 by 14 foot because I got a 6 by 6 that I cut on the sawmill already, and now I got a bunch of other lumber that I've got. So I should be able to do it without really having to get a whole lot of anything. We'll see about that, but it's like second on my project list right now. But I think it would be a nice view right here. Keep it under 250 square feet. A1 agricultural exempt zoning. This is a floating dock from somebody that was here way before me. And this goes to show how much the water's gone down. Because water used to be up to about here, and this was always under the water the whole entire time for the past 20 some years. You got the start of the dam right here. This is the long side. You got all the springs coming in that area right there. The big ones are off over here. There is a couple right here that flow down into that same area and come in. So we're back up on the little 4-wheeler trail. Somewhere in this area is what I'm thinking about doing the cabin. I don't know. A lot of falling down stuff. Open up area. Everything needs to be cleaned up over here. And here we are on the back side of the pond. 2 ways to kind of drop down. We got the old 4-wheeler trail that went back over there, and there's a secondary dam system. This is the original dam system that was built. You can see it's kind of like equaling out too. So this is dropping to the low point over here, and this is a twofold reason from over the years. This is the main overflow. When the water does flood and get high, it comes over here and flows down. But also, there's just roots in here, and somehow the water just is kind of going under this whole entire area. You can see a little bit pooling right here, you know, and dropping down. It might have been a, I don't know, bad thing too. I also cut a bunch of stuff out of here, but this was already dropped prior to me cutting stuff. It really didn't move too much since last year. But I did want to clear this out because I wanted to just be able to use this area at some point. And I'll walk you back here because I'm gonna try to dam it up back here. And then the idea with that it will dam all the water back up into this area and then hopefully raise this. But I definitely need to work on trying to plug that one area right there. And the main reason I was clearing this is because I really want the bigger, more water-loving trees to really dominate this area. And the gum tree is the #1 invasive tree along the pond line, you know, and I want these sycamores, like this one right here, and then that's another beautiful sycamore right there. I want them to get massive, you know, 50-inch diameter or more. And then you got a river birch right here. It's another sycamore right here. What do we got there? That was they make the bats out of it. How am I drawing a blank? On the spot, drawing a blank. All right, so this is what you go back to the secondary dam. Kind of like slopes off on each side. So right now, all the water's coming in to this little area right here, which is just straight up going underground and then coming out all the way down here. Right there. And I think a little bit's trickling out over there. Originally it used to come through right there, so I sandbagged that and it found another way. But yeah, hopefully I can get this all plugged. We'll get more water in the pond. Walk back up over the dam right here. Pretty steep drop off. Goes real far down there. There's a pipe down there too, which I assume goes through this dam. I've never seen where that pipe is inside this pond, and it looks really, really clogged down there too. Let's take a little walk down the back side of the dam. Dropping in elevation a little bit. So we got this pipe right here, completely clogged, full of dirt and stuff. Yeah, I don't have a clue. Been here forever. There's always water coming out of here, you know. It starts up again. I don't know if, you know, I highly doubt there's another spring here. It's probably just leaching out from the pond in general off that dam. And then we got these buckets everywhere from 30, 40, 50 years ago. You can see it just kind of goes off into a nice little creek. There's another pond over here the neighbors got, and our two ponds together form a little runoff, which eventually flows into the river about a mile away from here. And this is the main water flow coming off of our pond. This will form a super sick waterfall when it's really raging. When there's rain or high flow, you'll get like a really nice waterfall back in this area, kind of just staircasing down. Beautiful spot back here. So we're back on top of the dam, just wide enough to drive a tractor across. littered with all these shitty ass gum trees. That was a hickory tree down there that I kept trying to think of. Beautiful long view. The pond is about 8 feet deep in the center. It used to be 12 foot deep, so it's dropped 4 foot over the years, which is pretty substantial. So thanks for joining me. We're gonna call that a wrap. There's not much more to see except just walking around the other side, which is just really hilly and not a lot of cool stuff. But I wanted to try this longer format video out and see if there's any maybe interest in this kind of stuff. If it is, I'll try to work on starting to maybe do it with the GoPros instead of the phone, which is why the aspect ratio is shitty in this way. But y'all take care. I'm at the wildlife deer watering hole right here, and till next time, see ya. Little grove of mountain laurel, real thick in here. Always got these ferns growing. It's real steep on this side of the pond. Kind of hard to do anything over here because it is so steep. And this is one of the areas that I've just haven't really messed with clearing off at all over the years. Super thick mountain laurel down there. We had a beaver come in many years ago and tried to take down this beech tree. And from what I've been told by the neighbor, beech trees take a long time to grow. So this one could be a couple 100 years old. It's massive. It got chewed up pretty good, but it's got a fence around it. Still kicking, still alive. I have tried clearing all of this out the other year. Then I broke the tractor bucket and never got back down here with the grappler and the saw to kind of cut stuff up and try to move everything out. The beech trees, which I was just beech, are kind of taking over this area, which is kind of cool. They're normally growing in shade. This is an old trail I had just to walk around the pond. Still got all sorts of trees down. Need to get in here with the grappler and the chainsaw. Nasty ass poplar. Sourwood. Another little wildlife watering hole. Alright, well thanks for coming along. That was a little extra snidtivity bit. I wasn't even sure if my phone was going to last recording wise and allow me to tour this or not, but it seems like it has. We've made it back to where the springs feed in. Another little area I cleared a long time ago. The geese used to dominate this little area. Real thick with brush in here. The springs from the left coming in. Need to replace the sold bridge. Adios.